Here we have the highlights for Division 4 Round 2 of Season 9, racing in the Toyota GT1 Race on Oz. Race held at the Tokyo South Expressway, going counterclockwise and doing 33 laps as a race, with the first lap being the self-inflicted rolling start. Here are the qualifying results. Report couldn't make it this time round, but we welcome Wolfie for the first time this season. End of the formation lap is happening, and all 10 drivers are bunching up as we get into now the start zone. Brendan will be the one to fire the trigger to start the race. He's gone, he's off. It's the race is on. We've got Dash just taking a jump around Vards. Half bite around Vards. Vards has dropped 2 positions. Vards has gained a position. Up and down the list they go. So we've got Brendan, a big gap out there. With 3 wide, or is it 2 wide, coming down the straight here, heading towards the double hairpin. It'll be interesting what happens here. Half bite in second. Vards going for a dive up the inside, a little bit of a touch. We've got Dash and Jim fighting for a podium position here. All 2 wide through here. Looks like everyone's come out clean. The pack is still like a peloton of Tour de France bikes. It looks like Brendan's got the big jump on everyone, and he doesn't have to deal with the carnage which is happening down through this section here. As we come up to the first time at the bus stop, pit stop hairpin, we'll see what makes of it. We've got Tully going for a bit of a dive up to the inside by the looks of it. Half bite going very wide. Tuddy is maybe got the jump on him. He's got around Dash. And now he's wedged in between the BJH team of Dash and Half Bite. Right, going to the hairpin here to watch Vards from his perspective. What he did here at the double hairpin around Half Bite. It's a little bit in there on the inside, cuts Half Bite off. Getting a wider run. Half Bite fighting back, Vards fighting back, takes it. Alright, just a little bit of a highlight earlier from just after the double hairpin. Some really weird occurrences happened here as we come around down to the tunnel section. Dash has put on his hazard lights and proceeds to have his hazard lights running for the rest of the race. Second lap, we've got Dash with a solid run against Tuddy, having a look up on the inside. Tuddy goes wide, grinds the wall, should give Dash the run. As you can see, the guys behind them fighting away. Looks like Wolfie wants to get around Arnold and does so cleanly as well. Dash has taken a position, and so is Wolfie. Wolfie having a go himself around the inside of Tuddy. Oh, they're all bunching up. Tuddy's got the run, little wall touching, slowed everyone down. Now got a fight for 4th position here between Dash and Half Bite. The issue is they're both in the same team, so it might be team orders to leave each other alone and don't fight too hard. Either that, or Dash might be contemplating to just use the tow and help save on fuel. Lap 6, and these two are still duking it out. We got here. Yeah, trouble is when you're racing up against a teammate, you don't want to ruin their race as well. Take that little bit extra care. But, they're both pushing each other, and I think they might be helping each other get up closer to Jim. It looks like they're closing in on Jim. Alright, last race, Tuddy really didn't get much attention, so we'll just have a whole run of just on board with Tuddy for this lap. So as he starts the lap, we a almost 90-degree left turn through there without touching the wall and going onto the railway track, straight through down the hill. You go under a bridge, then back up to the double hairpin. You get there, look at the 150 board, slam the brakes on, and then turn in tight. Try and get as round a turn as possible. Then try and get up into a higher gear and boot it out of here as fast as possible. The speed you can get down there over others. Alright, on the red stuff. Seems a bit of a camber there. It grips a little bit more. And the car doesn't tail end. Down the what we call the back straight. All these S's can be a bit funny with the airflow. But he's got no jet wash in front of him. Come up to the pit stop hairpin here. 150 board should double brake the crap out of the thing. Turn right, try and get your power down as soon as possible, and then straight back up onto the causeways. Get into this rhythmic left, right, left section, and that will be the end of the race as we go through the penalty zone, and this overboard is the end of the lap. Just racing here with Fezza, as something must have happened at home, as he's pitting early, only after 8 laps. Pits in, so it might be reminiscence of Blitz Lightning's Brown Snake from previous season, is to come in and do something at home. Sad to see that our American counterpart here has to park up. Might be the end of his race. He might sit here, he might still be able to get in. We'll see what happens. Got 3 drivers here. Arnold looking down the tailpipe. Wolfie got a slower run out of that corner. Arnold round nice and neatly. Blunty giving him the thumbs up. A good manoeuvre there. We got Half Bite and Dash really closing down on Jim. Putting the pressure on. Jim just a bit out in no man's land there, but Half Bite gives him a bit of a nudge. Half Bite readdresses, Dash gets around Half Bite, and then Half Bite gets around Dash. A bit of a mix up there between the 2 team players. Still with Fezza. Might get something happening where he might actually get back into the racetrack. Something's happening here. They've let him go, and he has dropped out of the race. Podium position up for grabs here with Half Bite really chasing down Jim. Jim hasn't got a good run out of there at the train lines. Half Bite commands the inside position in the double hairpin. Gets around very cleanly in the end. Jim has nowhere to go. So let Half Bite. Jim might have another crack back at him. He's got the better run down towards this right-hander before we get to the tunnels. And that looks like Half Bite's got the run on him. Does leave Dash Vanguard a little bit further back, and Tuddy is almost within slipstream range. Coming up to the double hairpin here. Dash turns really tight. The tyres bite in. Jim lets Dash go around. In the end, a very clean overtake. It does let Tuddy come down right onto Jim's tail. Coming down to the tunnel section, we have Tuddy having a crack at Jim. Jim's got a slow run, or is he surrendering his position to Tuddy? Tuddy around the outside quite easily and gains a position. Tuddy up to 5th, Jim down to 6th. Coming through the S section, Blunty all over the back of Wolfie. Turning left before we go down the home straight. Wolfie looks like he's hit the wall. Blunty has got the momentum and gets around quite easily. As we've moved forward to lap 15 of this race, minus the parade lap, we've now got Blunty making another move. He's coming down the tunnel section, all over Arnold. Arnold's doing his best to block without any ramifications from the stewards. Blunty quite around the inside of Arnold. I think Arnold just gave up in the end, let him through, didn't want to fight too much and maybe burn fuel or tyres. As you can see, Blunty's tyres are really starting to scream in pain. We're coming up to the hypothetical pit window. Well, that probably was a couple of laps ago. No one's pitted apart from poor Fezzer. And we've got Vard's the first one to jump into the pits. You see the canvas showing on the front left tyre of Jim. He now pits. Must change those tyres. Even the rear left is screaming in pain. Arnold, who's fairly much gentle on his tyres, even he's got his rear left out in pain. If it was flesh, it'd be bleeding. He now jumps into the pits, but saved a lot of fuel in his going there. He won't need to top up as much as the others. Alright, 2 laps on from Arnold's pitting. We will have Half Bite shoot into the pits. Fuel on fumes. So Half Bite jumping into the pits. We have Dash into the pits. Tuddy into the pits. Did he just cut the line there? Not sure if he did. Let's see what happens. So will positions be changed here? We come out of the pits. It looks like Half Bite will get out sooner. He's got the more fuel there. It looks like no positions will change here as they come out of the pits. Half Bite out, Dash out, and we've got Tuddy out. Blunty jumps into the pits. A good amount of fuel in there. He's been fuel saving. Right, it does look like that Tuddy did cut the inbound pit line. He's going to have to serve the 3-second penalty. That'll get him further away from the BJH team guys. Hitting the wall's not going to help him either. What unfortunately does is, as he serves a penalty, Jim flows through and takes up a position. What that does leave us is that the only person who hasn't pitted this race is Brendan, which he has to be going in now for sure. Brendan, the race leader, is pitting in. And when you talk about fumes, he must have been totally ran out of fuel and rolled in. No, he had 1% fuel left. So we sit here and wait for Brendan to fill up. Let's see how close Vards is. As I can see, Vards is coming down to the pit straight here. Will he get around Brendan? He still has to turn the corner, whereas Brendan doesn't. Brendan out in front. And I can hear Vards in the background just going around the corner. You can just see him in the horizon back there. So quite comfortable lead there for Brendan. We now got Vards closing in on lapping up Wolfie. It's well and truly out in second place. Doesn't do himself any favours clumping into the wall, damaging suspension in front. And poor Wolfie, in trying to make room for Vards, has also hurt himself by the looks of it. But Vards gets around. I wouldn't say the cleanest overtake for a lapping. But we've got Wolfie here. We'll just check. No, Wolfie's quite... it doesn't help. Right. We have Wolfie fighting back to unlap himself over Vards. They're not going to let Vards be so comfortable here as these two. I don't know if they know each other in real life, but I think a bit of a rivalry here. Wolfie's taken exception to being lapped by Vards and having a bit of a go back at him. Don't know if the stewards like that sort of behaviour, but Wolfie's not letting go, even hitting the wall, still chasing down Vards. I mean, a little bit of slipstreaming there probably helps him out for the race. Anyway, don't know if Wolfie will unlap himself here at the corner, but he might as well have a crack and see what he does. He doesn't do anything unbeknownst. Vards with a tighter corner there, can get on the gas sooner. No, they're still fighting it out here. We'll come to this section here, which I think Vards is a little bit quicker through here, so Wolfie might lose some time. Vards has got the better line. And yeah, you can see now he's pulling away. Wolfie's really out of slipstream range. It's just a matter of 1-2 corners, and suddenly Vards is away. That was pretty much the only action we had at this time of the race. Everyone else is gapped far apart. Not many battles happening at the moment, if any. Now we have race leader Brendan Stimpy as he comes over the line for the second last time. He is now into the final lap. Great big buffer behind him, with Vards well and truly out there in the back. He's got another back marker between him and Brendan. Half bite in third. He's about to start his last lap. Again, he's a long way back, with Dash, his teammate, quite comfortably in fourth position. He's not going to challenge third at all. Jim, who's had a bit of a seesaw run of it in this race, he's about to start his last lap, and he's equally as far back behind the other guys. Tuddy, he's probably got a race he'd rather forget. It's coming through into his final lap. Blunty, again, he's worked himself up from, I think at one stage, he's worked himself up into 7th position. Arnold has yet to start his final lap, as he's been lapped by Brendan in 8th. And poor Wolfie, who's just starting to learn the ropes of this car, how twitchy it can be, in 9th. So back with the race leader as he comes around the final left-hand turn for the final time, excluding that kink. And he's already celebrating before he crosses the line. So we have race winner Brendan Stimpy in first. So we have Vards now coming through in second. Wolfie finishes up, unfortunately, in 9th. Arnold's already finished. We got Half Bite in third, makes up the podium. Dash 4th, to give points, add points to BJH Racing. Jim in 5th, who's racing for the Gamesman. He finishes in 5th. Tuddy, I'm not sure, he's in base livery, he might be a privateer. And Blunty, the last driver on the lead lap, coming through to finish the race off in 7th spot. Here are the results of this race. Here I would have placed the overall standings for drivers and also the Teams Championship. However, you should be able to find it on raceonoz.com and follow the links to the GT7 section till all are one.